Hi, I'm Silverholic. I hope you're doing well. Sending silver or gold by mail can go very wrong if it's not done correctly. Don't mail silver or gold before watching this video from start to end. I will teach you everything you need to know to send coins or bars of precious metal by mail or courier. Your wallet will be thanking you for learning this. Here are some of the items that you should and should not use when mailing bars and coins. So let's start with the standard envelopes like this one and this one. So these are designed for paper only, and you don't want to use them to mail coins. I'll explain why that is a little bit later. The other two you can use are first craft envelopes like these. So you can get those at dollar stores for about 30 cents each. So this is a very cheap option if you want to mail items. Then we have these bubble mailers. These are a little bit more expensive than the craft envelopes. You can expect to pay about 50 cents each for them. It's, in my opinion, one of the best options to mail bars and mail coins if it's in a small quantity. And then we have cardboard boxes. So this is one I've received in the past, so I just reuse them. You're going to want to use a box that is just big enough so that you're not spending extra on shipping. Just clean this up. My space is very crowded here with everything I've put in. So when you're mailing precious metals, there are two factors that you have to take into consideration. The first one is the safety of the envelope or the box that you're using, and the second is the cost of shipping. So let's start with what you shouldn't use. So in the case of regular envelopes that are designed for paper, like these two, first, they're not sturdy enough, so they can easily get damaged in transit just because it's thin paper. The second problem with them is that they go through an automated sorting machine at the warehouse, and this machine will very likely make the envelope split open if you put unbendable items like coins and bars inside of them. So it's not worth taking the risk that the content will be removed during the sorting process just to save a few pennies on the packing material and maybe $1 on the shipping cost. So the good options that you have are the craft envelopes. If you have no choice, it's a decent way to do it. It's not the best one, but it works. Otherwise, bubble mailers and cardboard boxes are really the best options. Okay, so let's remove this for sure. Now let's first prepare the items for shipping. So let's say that you want to ship some coins like these. So these are bullions, something like a buffalo or a maple leaf. Or maybe some 1-ounce silver bars. Or you could go with larger items like 5-ounce bars like these, or even 10-ounce bars like these. So whatever you need to ship, you need to first ensure that the items are well protected. So in the case of bullions like these or any other type of coins, you have 3 ways of protecting the item. So first, you don't want to put any tape on any of the bars or coins directly. So you want to protect the item from the tape that you're going to be using. So the 3 ways to do it with a bullion like this would be either with a capsule, like that, That is the most expensive option. Usually a capsule will cost in between 30 cents and $1 each. You can go with a 2x2 flip like this. So these are great. They're very inexpensive. I believe they sell for about 10 cents each at local coin shops. So you can get a pack of them for like $1 or $2. And the other option would be to use a plastic envelope like this. The only thing that you need to understand if you decide to use this is that some of the plastics could be damaging to the coins. So if you don't want to take any chance, I would avoid that, but that would be, since it's not going to be inside of the envelope for very long, that would be an option that you could use if you don't have access to either a capsule or a flip. So I'm going to do both in this case. So I'm going to use first a flip. So these are very easy to use. You just put the item inside of it and then you staple it. Something like this. I'm in a very awkward position right now because of the camera and the setup and everything, so it's easier to do than what is going to appear on this video. There you go. Just take your stapler. And you can either go on sides or on corners. I prefer to do corners. Just center it back in. And then you staple the other two corners. And there we go. Now it's well protected. So the other way would be with something like a capsule like this. So capsules have various sizes. This one is too large, so I didn't take the time to select one for this size, but basically you want to use one where the coin is not going to move around like this. I believe this one has the insert for that size of coin. Let's try it. So you don't want the coins to be making any noise inside of the box. So using something like this would be a no-no. Yeah, this one fits perfectly. Perfect. There we are. So now the capsule, the coin is not making any noise inside of the capsule, so that's good. Put this there. And the last way would be with a small plastic envelope like, oh yeah, I forgot one. Okay, so I'm sorry. There are two others. So plastic envelope, as I was saying. So now the coin is protected. And the last one that I was forgetting is the plastic flip like this. So these are more expensive. They cost about 50 cents each, so I don't think it's a good option if you have to purchase them. But often, if you purchase online or if you purchase at coin stores and things like that, they will come with them. So just keep them and you can reuse them. Okay, so it's on this side. So you just slide it in. There we go. Okay. So now for the flip, there is one extra step. You need to secure it. So right now it could, you know, open up and the coin could flip around. So just gonna put some tape on it so that it doesn't. Just like that. Super easy to do. And now it's in it and it's not gonna get out. So for bars, there's nothing really to do at this point. They all come right now in a plastic sleeve. If it doesn't, it really doesn't matter because the next step will protect them anyway. So once you have them protected against tape, basically, what you want to do is put them in something that will reinforce them and protect them. And also, this will allow you to tape to the envelope directly without taping the item itself. So what I do is I always use cardboard from food packaging, like this is from the cereal box. You could, I think I have some from chicken wings. Yeah, so I have one from chicken wings here. Just cut strips like this and you can use them for your packaging later on. So let's say I wanted to send 2 coins. Just gonna make some room here to work. So let's say I wanted to send those 2 coins. I would simply cut the item as close as possible so that way I can wrap them. So I would remove this extra here, which is no use. Cut this extra as well. So now you have an extra strip you can use for something else. Same with that. And from here you have 2 options, and I use both. So the first thing I normally do is I will staple the loose parts where there's no coin. Like that. And I have the other 2 corners here that I can do. There we go. Just make sure not to staple the coins. And I can actually, on this one, I have enough room to put the staple on the sides as well. So now they're in there, they're not moving and they're not going anywhere, and they're not gonna burst out of it. So, and they don't move, so they're not making any noise either. The other option, or you can do both actually, would be to tape this. So you just use packaging tape like that. So now it's all taped up. So this is super secure. This is bulletproof, basically. Once it's inside of the envelope, it's not going to move. It's not going to do anything. Nothing can really damage the coins once it's in there. And you can do the same thing for the bars. So let's say you wanted to ship those 2 bars here. You would simply go through the same process and putting them inside of the cardboard. Another option, if you don't have cardboard for some reason, you can use paper. So just sheets of paper like these. I normally use 2 or 3, and you just wrap the items inside of them. Something like this. And you can do the same thing. You can just tape them and cut the extra, or just bend it. The only thing is, the more bends you make, the thicker it is, and so it might increase your shipping cost. But let's just, for this example, just bend it so it's done quickly. But normally I would probably just tape it and staple it. So like that. And you just tape that. There we go. So the envelope is typed now. So this is ready as well. It's going to move a little bit more, like inside of that. That's not as secure as cardboard, but if it's an alternative you can use if you don't have cardboard. In the case of a tube, let's say that you want to ship these 25 maple leaves. So right now, you can ear them. So you want to make sure that the extra space is filled. So you have 2 options to do that. You can either put a small piece of paper, a small ball of paper to fill the extra space, or you can use a styrofoam peanut. That works very well as well, and that's what most of the online dealers are doing. I'm going to put the small ball here. Close the tube back up. You can see now it really doesn't make much noise. So this is the first step. The second step is you want to make sure that the cap is taped to the tube so that it doesn't open during transport. Because if it was to open during the transport, the coins would spill out of the tube and they would move around the package. And this is really bad because first of all, it will damage the coins because they're going to be rubbing against each other. And the second thing is loose coins can easily punch through either cardboard or the bubble mailer if they're allowed to move freely. So you want to make sure that doesn't happen. So I'm going to tape that. There we go. So this cap is not going to be moving anywhere. So now let's put the items inside of the package that we choose to use. So let's say that we want to use the craft envelope. What you're going to want to do is tape the items inside of this envelope so that they don't move around. The way I normally do it in terms of either the bubble mailer or craft envelope, I just put tape on both sides of the item in a way that the glue is outside of the tape, like that. You just roll it on itself. You put it on the side, so now you see it's sticky. I do the same thing on the other side. Go. And then I put it inside of the envelope around the middle if I can. And now see, it's not coming out and it's not going to move around. So it's very secure. And then you just close your envelope. You can do the same thing with this type of mailer here. That. There you go, so I have it on both sides now. Just put it in. It's going to be tighter with this one because it's a smaller envelope. There we go, just press it down so that the tape sticks to both sides, and now it's not moving for sure. Okay, that was easy. Now for the box, so this box has a loose tape, we'll just remove it. So if you order from Amazon or if you order from any online dealer or something like that, you're going to end up with a ton of these boxes. Just keep a few in case you need to ship. So let's say that I wanted to ship this tube here. So the first thing I'm going to do is make sure to secure it to the box itself by taping it. In case of something very heavy like a tube, it's going to be much harder to prevent it from moving. But the idea is not to let it gain any momentum when it's inside. So as much restriction as you can put, the better. Okay. So you'd normally tape it well. You just an example of how to do it, but basically you want to make sure that to put as much tape as you can so that it doesn't move around. Once that is done, you need to fill the extra void here, the extra space, so that there's no room for the tube to go to. So you have several options. You can use these air packaging things here that are normally used by large retailers. If you don't have them, I don't know how much they cost, so I can't really suggest where to purchase them or how much they're worth. But if you have some available, that's a good option if there's enough room. In this case, there isn't. So what you want to do is use something that will simply fill the void. In this case, I'm simply going to use a bag from Walmart here, just a regular plastic bag, and put it in there. You can also use paper sheets, journal, anything, just to make sure that it doesn't move. So that's done. I'm going to put a little bit of tape on top so that it glues itself to the top of the box as well when I close it. Just like that. And there we have it. Now that box simply needs to be taped to be ready to ship. I'm going to show you how I do that. So the first step is simply to have it shut. And it doesn't need to be secure at this point because we still need to put the label on it. There we have it. So now it's shut tight. And now we're ready to do the labeling. So when you do your labels, so I just printed two very simple ones here. So we're going to send them to Jerome Powell so that he understands that real money is in the form of silver. And one for Donald Trump because, well, he loves gold. So make sure when you do your labeling that the addresses for the return address and for the address where you're sending the item to are correct. So if you make a mistake, obviously it's going to create a large issue. And the other thing that you need to make sure is that nothing in the addresses on the package gives a hint of what's inside of the box. So you don't want to send the item using a name that would be silver or gold or jewelry or anything that's worth anything, basically. Same thing for your own address. If you're, for example, a YouTube channel like I am, I would not put Silverholic in here. That's why I put SH, because if someone sees that Silverholic, you might say, oh, it might be something worth a lot of money inside of this package and it might be worth stealing. And package theft is a problem. So you don't want to give any excuses or any reasons for someone who's dishonest to open your package. So now we just tape the label to the box. And I forgot to do it, but usually I put some glue at the back of the label as well, but it's not really necessary. There we go. So now the label is in place. And the last step is to make sure that the entire box is covered in tape. Tape is cheap and it's really good at securing so that the box doesn't open during transit. So you would tape the entire box on both sides. Just gonna do a quick time lapse here. So now I've taped it all the way on this side. Now I'm gonna do that side. So the same thing. So that's done on that side, and the last side would be that way, basically, so around the box. And there we go. So this box is pretty much bulletproof. There's no way this is going to open during transit. If you listen to it, there's no evidence that there's anything moving around that box. So this is pretty much ready to ship. Now, if you're using a bubble mailer like this, You would do basically the same thing, put on your label, and then tape it in. And the only difference is you don't need to tape the whole envelope in case of a bubble mailer. You can if you want, but I would put extra tape here where the envelope is closed, so that if the glue fails on the bubble mailer, then you have something to hold it in place. The last step will be to calculate how much it's going to cost to ship. So for that, it depends on the weight of the item, it depends on the size of the item, and also how fast you want it to get to the destination. I suggest you compare between either Canada Post or USPS and private couriers. Usually, private couriers are going to be a lot more expensive, but in some cases they're not. So it really depends. You should have a look at their price sheet and decide which shipping option is best for you. In terms of insurance, in most cases, couriers are not gonna insure precious metals. So even if you pay the insurance, if you do a claim for it because the package was lost or anything, there's a very good chance they're gonna deny it. So you have to make sure what their rules are regarding that, and you can find that information on their websites. And the last thing, make sure to double verify the weight and the size of your package to make sure that if you decide to send it by mail, that you put enough stamps on it to cover the cost. Otherwise, they're going to return it to you. So you don't want that to happen, obviously. If you're sending something very valuable, either you're sending gold, you're sending platinum, or you're sending a lot of silver, I would strongly suggest that you go with tracked shipping. It's an extra protection. Those packages, you can follow them on the internet along their route, and it's much less likely that they would disappear in the mail because of the tracking. It usually costs a few dollars more to do that, but if it's something valuable, it's well worth the expense. The last step, when you're sending the package, I strongly suggest that you take video evidence that you've done so. So if it's sent by regular mail without tracking, I would do what I call a video drop. So basically, when you put either your envelope or your box in the mailbox, you film the entire process and you make sure that the label is clearly visible in the video so that the person knows where the box was sent to, and then you have proof that it was sent. So you open a mailbox, put it in the mailbox, film the label, then close the mailbox so that the box drops inside of it, and then you have proof that it was sent. If you decide to use track shipping, I would still take a picture of the box so that the person knows what you sent exactly in terms of package size and everything, and then send that picture to the person along with the tracking number so that they can follow the package along the way. The last thing in terms of prices, before I forget, most couriers have flat rate boxes available, and these are usually much cheaper if you're sending something very heavy. So let's say that you're sending a few of the 10-ounce bars and it comes to, say, 5 pounds. It's going to be much cheaper to use a flat rate box instead of sending a normal box like this with the normal shipping fees. So you will have to verify with different couriers what the difference is, but this is, most of the time, this will be the best way to do it. If this video was useful to you, please hit the like button to satisfy the YouTube gods. There are many other teaching videos on this channel, so feel free to subscribe and watch this playlist. And also make sure to leave a comment for your entry into future giveaways. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.